Welcome to The Transformation Effect. It's the girl Shayla.
And I'm your girl Javette.
We're here to explore the powerful journeys of transformation, healing, and personal change.
Are you tired of living a life of mediocrity? Now is the time to activate your fullest potential. You're in the right place at the right time.
So join in on the journey. Follow, like, share, and buckle up. It's time for The Transformation Effect.
Time to love again.
Claiming nothing but the best for us. Cheers to this moment being magical, being memorable, and the best yet to come. Wildest dreams happen. Cheers. All right, take that sip.
Or let go, either one. So you guys are watching literally the manifestation of something we talked about, but to Shayla's point, we dreamed about, and it was a hard time to even get to this point. So it's been a real blessing. Give us a little bit of grace because we're still learning. It's a very
I'm proud of y'all.
Thank you. It takes a lot, especially in this climate, to be vulnerable and to be transparent and to, talk about things that you rather hide, but there needs to be conversations about, so just to give a little bit more background, like I remember Shayla had presented the idea of doing a podcast, and I'm like, the idea sounds really grand, but I'm very uncomfortable with speaking. I don't want to be on camera. I'm bigger than I've ever been. I just got the depression, the anxiety, and so we were having these conversations like how many people are suffering in silence, right? And I would be on her bed. It would just be me and her. She would have a camera, I'd be talking to it, and I would burst out into tears. You never know the behind the scenes of what it takes to get to this space, the sacrifices people have made, or the struggles that they've had to overcome to get here. So this is a very vulnerable time, but it's a time that we want to share our vulnerability so people can also learn and believe in their dreams and understand, don't let the hardships or the failures or the setbacks in life to extinguish your dreams. They say the most treasures are buried at the cemetery because there's so many people that die with gems within them. So this is an opportunity for us not just to say, let's not just live the length of life, let's live the width of it. Yes. So that's where we're at in the space trying to share. We got stuff going on and maybe a little, the microphones may be a little off, but what God is saying is show people the process because nothing is perfect. Yes. And the beauty is this is the first time, it won't be the last, but you guys will get an opportunity to see as we grow. I remember when I saw them in the beginning, and I don't know, just give me 4 drinks. I don't know about everybody else, you know what I'm saying? Anxiety's high. But when you walk in faith and you believe that God will do it, then He can speak on our behalf. I just want to share that with you.
Welcome to the Transformation Effect. It's your girl Shayla.
It's your girl Javette. Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, so we did that again. So just make sure y'all need to get comfortable, but we're going to jump right in. So we have some questions. This is big on engagement. You guys are not here to watch us. You guys are here to engage, okay? We're asking. It's a safe space, okay? So we're going to just honor that. You guys get as uncomfortable as you are. Our saying for the season is we're, of course, comfortable. We are comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Well, Shayla is. I'm uncomfortable with being uncomfortable.
But you're getting there, though.
But the process for me is it's incremental steps with having daily conversations and experiences where I'm learning to honor myself. I'm not there yet. I don't like being uncomfortable. I've been backed into my purpose. I haven't ran into it. Yeah. So my thing is, I'm just in a place where I'm willing to be honest because I don't care about the judgment as much as I care about God's purpose.
And that right there shows that you're vulnerable. I love that. Because I think about, clearly you guys talked about the divorce, right? Talked about briefly like what this space means to me for my healing process, and I think about what's next on my journey and the journey that I am on. We're gonna talk about relationships. So yeah, I just jumped. Y'all like, wait, it got real quiet because y'all want to know all the details. So
And like, what you gonna say about the relationship?
that's been a journey of its own, ladies, to be honest. I definitely hit my head a couple times. I'm so off the dating apps and I'm back on. But anyway, I've noticed like the social media. Right? It's an everyday cycle. Yeah, they need to delete those. So I was gonna say, I remember like looking at the way the dating world works now. It's very different, and I was seeing how social media makes such a I don't know, like it just makes it feel so unauthentic sometimes. But then I think about some of the standards in which I was raised on, and I think about just having access to things. And one of the reasons why I went through my divorce, I'm gonna just tell y'all, I have access to my partner's social media account. So I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Should your partner have access to your social media passwords, or is that a red flag?
And it's not just husbands, boyfriend, girlfriend,
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Real niggas ain't on social media.
Wait. So for y'all hear that in the back, she said, real niggas is not on social media. Okay.
We don't like men's opinions. Keep your emotions and your thoughts to your therapist. Social media is for female. That's a female thing, you know?
Yeah.
Just like shopping. Like, no, I'm not saying that everything should be, gender related. But I'm just telling y'all from experience, real niggas that I fuck with. The ones that are on social media are messy, accessible, and bitch made.
And they're
the ones who are not.
I saw a hand back here.
And they already on post. They do like a post of like they new shoes. It's like, okay. I'm talking about active. I'm not talking about like just like not on there all together.
Okay.
I'm talking about if you're on there, you're not like, yeah, so today a bitch told me, what y'all think? Yeah, I'm not.
So I got one thing. So before I start your comment,
we should always be able to pick up our partner's phone no matter what. But do we, and do we need to? So along the journey, dating, married, whatever, we have always felt comfortable being accessible to their information.
and I think that's like a societal standard, right? Do you feel like it's
My parents didn't do that shit.
I was gonna say like
I use traditional.
traditional. So
Yeah.
I want to touch on that. So societal norms, right? Okay, so I got.
Oh, but you know what, Shayla? That's not what I want to comment.
I mean, that's not
My comment.
one thing I would trust is
It's over, right? Okay, so before you get, I want to let you guys know the way we're going to work this today. We have 3 segments. The third segment is dedicated all to y'all, okay? So y'all can say, hey, I don't feel comfortable not having your information, or is that a reflection of you and the areas that you need to grow and be more secure? Because I think about what Brianna was posing, work towards a secure attachment style. If you don't trust your partner, then hey, why are you even in a relationship? Or if you're not trusting your partner, why are you in a position where you're ready to be in a relationship? Okay, I get the
You're always gonna find something that you don't like. It'll be something that irritates you.
We're going to keep the last session is interactive, but for this segment, we're going to wrap up really soon, I promise. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, I think it begins with the ability to trust yourself, right? So when you trust yourself to qualify, not perfectly, but you trust yourself because you've worked in areas that maybe there was a deficit in. So anybody familiar with different attachment styles? Let's say if a person has an anxious attachment style, so they're more clingy. Let's say you get into it, you have an argument with your spouse or with your boyfriend, and then you're more inclined to call him first because you're anxious for fear of abandonment and rejection. But a more secure attachment style would say, you know what? We had an argument. Let me not attack the person. It's us versus the issue. These are skill sets that we develop over time. Yellow flags, maybe some red flags that I overlooked, and instead of addressing them, I ignored them. But keep in mind, life is like, it's like if your car, right? If you need an oil change, the little light come on. You don't throw your car away. What do? You maintenance it, right? So we have to have the patience.
If it's worth it.
If it's worth it, and that's a part of the qualifying process is identifying what is worth it, what is your breaking points, what are you willing to bid on, and what will you break on.
And I love that because what also reminds me too is I think about people that are already in relationships, are long-lasting marriages. Two of my best friends right here have been married for over 10 years, 11 years, 12 years now, right? We're going into 12th year, right? So what is that? 14 years together, right?
No.
How many years married?
We've been together since 03.
I know that, but you've been married for how many years?
Oh, no.
So that's, am I doing it?
It's 14 years first, and then you don't mind.
Well, it's your anniversary, so I'm trying to do the math. I'm like, it's been a long time. What I'm trying to say is, ultimately, what does that look like as you evolve? Because if you've been with somebody since you were young, what does that look like as you evolve and you're becoming, right? Like, how do you make sure you're building that trust within yourself as you're figuring out yourself because you've been growing up with this person since you were little?
I think one of the keys is being married to the idea of being abundant in your thinking process.
Okay.
No relationship long term will last if you can't master the art of forgiveness, for one.
Yeah.
And then secondly, being able to be committed to growth. Am I adaptable? Am I coachable? Not that I'm looking to be controlled, but what I'm looking to do is to be open to change, because the person we meet today, it's just like with all of us. Who we are today is going to be different than who we are next year. Because we're constantly having encounters and having these situations that are evolving the way that we think and making us reflect on who am I, not only who am I, but who am I becoming? Who do I desire to be, and what is that going to look like? So we have to be open to being married to the many versions of a person. And if some things we got to keep it a buck, y'all. We don't know who people are going to become. We may entertain somebody in the season in which they were a certain way when we were both, maybe we weren't both doing the work, so it worked for us. We had a toxic relationship that was anchored in trauma bonding. Man, this guy, my daddy wasn't there either. My mama, and so we don't realize that sometimes we're forming trauma bonds versus healthy relationships.
That's right. So I love that. So what I'm hearing, because I wrap the segment up, what I'm hearing is knowing who you are, which requires work on yourself. So even if you're in a relationship, making sure you're creating a space to know who you are. And we know we talk about therapy all the time. So is that therapy? Is that journaling? What are you doing for your self-care to be fully present? Self-awareness is key.
That's right.
So if you do that in a relationship and outside of one while you're attracting your mate, that's the foundation, as you're saying. And another takeaway is you're saying, if you don't have trust in yourself, which goes back to self-awareness. So that's the foundation in this first segment. If you want to build vulnerability,
and can I also add that sometimes people are with who we pretended to be. We presented ourselves in such a way in which somebody met our representative, and then as the mask started to slip, they start to see us for who we really are.
Yeah.
And in that, so then it's like, well, who is this person? Like, you changed, and it's like, it's not that this person has been changed, it's that they've been revealed. And so in being revealed, sometimes people recognize that, hey, this is not the person I want to be with.
Yeah. So that's our first segment, you guys, talking about vulnerability and self-awareness. Thank you. And we're going to bring up our segment. And we kind of went over a little 10 minutes because y'all was spicy with that one, so that's good. So we're going to invite our special guest. We have talking this topic. LaRon and Scoop, you guys want to make your way up this way? All right.
How y'all doing tonight? Good. I'm looking good out there too. All right. So my name is LaRon. I go by the name El Rizzi. Podcast is called Talk of the Topic, where we talk about social events. We talk about relationships. We talk about black folks with businesses. A lot of people don't realize that we own more than we do. And in that situation and in that space, you're free to speak however you want to. When you come on our podcast, we don't have a guideline or a certain way you got to look or feel to be able to express yourself. And if you look at the majority of the podcasts that are out now, we're painted in a way to where we have to look kind of hood, kind of ghetto. We have to say something where we're shooting down the black dude, make him look a certain kind of way to be appealing. And I think that what we're trying to do is make it to where you can just be yourself. I think that's the easiest way to say it. I think that's the easiest way to get love. I think that we don't share love. I think a lot of the things that we do off of clout. I think a lot of the things we do, we try to make ourselves look more than what we are, instead of just holding ourselves accountable and speaking to one another with respect. I think we lost that. I think a lot of social media is a lot about showing my BBL, showing, turning around. Like I see a lot of women, they turn around and they show their backside.
Before they'll take a picture from the front.
Before they yeah. So I think that with that being said, that to me, I felt like if you gotta change, and this is my personal opinion, y'all don't have to agree. If you have to do all that to get my attention, something's not right there. For me, that's a red flag. I think that your butt, your booty is not your beauty, is what I'm trying to say. Intelligent conversations are what we're getting away from. I think a lot of the conversations that we're having now are not about self-awareness. I think a lot of us felt like that the look is what it is, not the who you are is what it is. Right. You know what I'm saying? The conversation needs to get back to us respecting our black queen, respecting our black king, and being able to have an actual conversation with ourselves. I see a lot of stuff on social media where it's like the guy is trying to talk to the woman and she's shooting him down before he can even introduce himself. And it's based on how he looks versus based on his conversation. We need to get back to being able to have conversations. So that's what talking the topic is about.
I love that.
Like we co-host, so this is my guy, my brother, Morris Williams. He's Reezy, and basically, like he said everything on point. Like we just want to keep it open-minded. I go by the name of Scooter, Scooty D, whatever you may seem to, whatever you want to call me. But our biggest thing is just to make sure that you have an open-minded conversation when you come and talk the topic, where it can be expressed with gratitude and real understanding about today's world, today's topics, because you want everything to be genuine. And we always discuss, like, you know, money don't make you real, right? Real come from the heart. And a lot of people are getting away from certain morals and values, integrity, based on how they was probably raised or how they wasn't raised. Oh, excuse me. So being here today and being invited with these two beautiful young ladies was just a common effect to make sure we can all speak on all topics based on from their podcast, from our podcast, and so we can have this open dialogue.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. So a lot of our conversations are about how do we change the narrative, right? Like how do we change to make people think bigger than just what's out there in the world? So that's why we felt like it was important to have a male's perspective. We understand it's one of the last days of International Women's Month, right? So, and we're grateful for that. But we felt like if we can bring two genders together who are always so segmented, especially in the black community, how can we change the narrative, right? So anyway, thank you for coming. But you guys heard our question. We asked about the past, where you kind of touched on it just a little bit, right? About self-awareness. You've heard me say about that. So I want to get your input when it comes to sharing passwords or being vulnerable, because that's really what it's about. Are you comfortable being vulnerable with your partner, and does that something you feel like, from a man's perspective, comes natural?
I think the vulnerability comes from just based on y'all having that open conversation, right? And just where the trust begins, where trust starts, and how you move forward. Because like once you lose that person, respect based on something you shouldn't have did, then it's kind of like all that trust go out the window. It only takes one time. It takes years to gain trust and seconds to lose. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to gain perspective with the person that you want to be able to be open-minded with, and just be true, trustworthy and truthful, right? Everybody base certain things on certain perspectives when they look at what they expect from a person, from male perspective, woman perspective, right? And like, I think it's more so the material, right? A lot of people don't feel good, maybe they don't have money, or they maybe don't feel good if they don't have things going their way. But I think it goes right back to who you are as a person when things ain't going well, because mentally you can able to affect the person that you can come in and deal with just having an open mind to everything and just really being humble, right? I think more so the situations nowadays has gotten out of hand because people don't have respect for the other person. Meaning, like, well, we gotta go on a $200 date before I get a chance to know you or like you, like my bro said. And I don't think it's genuine when you look at that perspective on how we trying to have conversation, how we trying to meet with different individuals, and how we trying to build camaraderie with, like I would say, as far as team building skills, and having an understanding to how if we are doing bad as two together in a relationship, how do we get out of that, right? And people forget about that as the most misunderstanding part. What I see things are when money comes into play.
Interesting.
Yeah, money comes into play.
And I just want to add to that vulnerability is one thing, because with vulnerability with the password, it's you're giving more transparency. However, you can't control if somebody's in your DMs. So there has to be a conversation around if somebody is like reaching out or they're interested. That's some things, I mean, you can block certain people, but you can't control, and that's where the trust plays a part, right? Because the trust is, I can't control how other people see me or their interests, or they may reach out, but I can create boundaries around like, okay, they're interested, I express that I'm spoken for, and it goes no further than this. So I think those are some things to be mindful of.
Can I have women raise their hand if you think the grass is green on the other side?
No, you have a comment. Like, as far as I have a comment.
Yeah,
Related to what you were talking about.
Okay.
So, as a married woman, there's levels to my response to people that are always in my DMs.
Facts.
Okay? So, there's no fucking response if I don't know you. Excuse my language.
That's fine.
And if you're somebody who I've seen in the streets, I'm gonna be respectful, and I'm gonna say, no, I'm married. Da, 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 da. So it's on how we respond. Yes, you are so right. We can't control what they see beauty, sis.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you say anything? When I see a handsome brother, I don't say kids, but I say something to that. I mean, it's in my head, right? But I'm not messaging you to let you know.
Right.
Okay. I have a whole husband. I got kids behind me who you know.
And you loyal to them.
And I'm loyal to that, right? But it is levels, because I do respect the people who I see at some of my kids' basketball games who might not see me with a partner, and they're now seeing me on social media, and they're going to slide, and I'm going to give you a nice place. I'm going to see your ass at Soldier Town next time.
So that I can have that salty, silky smooth that you like. So I believe that oftentimes when you're in a partnership, it's good to think about how you help invest and co-invest in these things that these men like. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I respect that, but I just met you.
Yeah.
So this is the first date. This $200 lobster and steak, these nails, that hair done, I don't even know your last name. That's something that you have to take care of yourself. Now, if we in a relationship and that's how I met you, and you obtaining some things, we're trying to obtain some things, the way that you look naturally as a beautiful queen that you are, that's great. But the thing is if we're trying to buy a house, you trying to get you a new transportation, we gonna have to budget.
That part.
The dream is not your look. The dream is how we gonna get to the next level.
Absolutely. And to add to that too,
You wanna listen?
I look like that no matter what. I don't do that to attract. I do that because it makes me feel good. So yeah, my nails 75, but that's once a month. My hair, just like you said. But I'm gonna do that because I feel good doing that. And I don't expect the man to pay for that for me. But that's just my POV.
I agree, right? And I want a woman with organic beauty that, and if you do the extra stuff, that's cool. But I don't want to, I'm going to get you.
I don't feel like it's my responsibility.
Hey, hold on.
Now, if you get into a relationship and your husband's sending his Zelles every week like me, then I can choose to use your money and go get my nails done. But I've always done it. And it's a trip because some of us black women come into a relationship making more.
Right.
So I've always been doing this before I even got this. And I'm going to keep doing it. But now that I get your weekly income, maybe I might shift. I might use your money and go do it.
Right, okay, that's cool, right? But here's my thing, though. I don't. Who's sending money? I'm gonna get you sucker. I don't want that. I don't want to have to pay. What I'm saying, so at the end of the day, if I'm going to contribute money to a relationship and me and my woman is on the same thing, then it's not an issue, right? But then I don't want it to be materialized on everything that you're trying to do to keep up with the Joneses, and then you don't got no secure confidence in yourself outside of the things that I'm doing for you as a man, because I believe in you, I trust in you, I want you to look good, I want you to do all these things, but then you gotta be accountable to making sure that you kind of do your part too, far as the woman upkeep outside of the things I'm gonna continue to do.
Because when you met her, she had it all together, right?
Exactly. So don't solely depend on certain things because I know I'm gonna support you anyway. We should have that understanding.
I feel like there's other ways you should contribute, or you can contribute. You don't need to contribute to me washing my ass, and I don't need to contribute to you washing my ass. So I feel like certain things are your maintenance, right? That's your maintenance. If you want to invest in me, there's other ways to do that. You don't need to invest in my health.
And which way? How do I invest in you?
You can buy me some flowers, make me smile. Like think about what actually makes me happy, right? Like me wash my ass. Oh, but intentionally. See, I knew it. I told y'all. No, I'm just saying. Those are things like washing your ass. Yeah. Like if I want to get my nails done and that's my regular upkeep, I don't expect a man to jump in and say, "Oh, let me just do that for you." I feel like you're trying to control me. My nails are my nails. My nails are my nails. If you want to invest in something else, invest in my bills. But I don't like those words. You know what I mean? Like invest in something else.
So this is what I'm hearing, Stacey.
There's plenty of ways to do it.
So this is a common theme I am hearing here. And what we'll do now is I want us to go ahead and switch to interactive because we're wrapping up this segment. I love that we're having this conversation. So please look 1 second. No, we're going to take it right now, but I want to switch us to interactive. But what I'm hearing from the both segments, you guys, there's a common theme here. It's self-awareness with vulnerability. So having the conversation with your partner, understanding what works for you, but also giving yourself space to process what works for you. Because a lot of times we just jump into things thinking it works for us, and we find out, oh, maybe that didn't work. I just pushed someone away or whatever the case may be. So reevaluate yourself. Be humble. That's all I'm saying. And it's also qualified. So it's a mixed bag. Like we always say. Therapy. All right, we're going to switch our interactive section. Let's keep these questions going. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So going back to the growth mindset, we talk about hair, nails, like incidentals, basically. We need to be talking about earth, like we need to own shit. We need to buy houses.
That part. An elevated mindset, right?
Like if you're gonna invest in me, take that $200.
Yes.
Put it in some investment account. Let's talk about it in a couple months and like let's start doing something.
I love that.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about when I meet you on Instagram. One, I'm in the 14-year club or whatever that is. So I was social media. I don't even know. I don't think I would do it again unless I was out in person. Like I need to meet people in person. That was my second point. Like,
I love that.
We need to just be out doing stuff, meeting people, getting a vibe.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not trying to exchange with people on social media.
Okay, I like that.
I don't even know what that means.
That part.
Like my pictures, I don't even know where my pictures come from. They're from like 12 years ago. Like, I don't even know what you look like. So we're all catfishing each other. We're all catfishing each other. So let's just like go out in public, go out in Walnut Creek, meet black people in Walnut Creek, go eat at these places, go meet people, tell him to put his money back in his pocket, go take yourself out to dinner, and put that money in.
Love it. I love that. I love that.
These streets are making money and they're not on social media, and that's what my point was. They're hustling, they're providers, they're protectors. They're not on there swiping and looking at fake fucking BBLs and shit. I'm not with none of that. So even though I'm very, I don't have one.
Beth and I started doing this Would You Rather, and we actually just started posting one of the Would You Rather games. So we're gonna ask for those in the back that are kind of quiet back here. I'll ask it, and I'm going to pass the mic. This is going to be open conversation for all of us, okay? Let me find my first question. 1 second. All right, would you rather? Here's a fun one. I'm going to get a spicy one, actually. I got a good spicy one. Spicy. Because, I like spicy. Spicy caliente. Caliente. All right, I'm going to rip it out the cup, okay? Those that know me know. All right. This is a good one. Would you rather have a partner who only wants quickies or one who insists on marathon sessions every time?
If I got a marathon, I got 3 businesses. I ain't got time for marathons. Me and my man been together for many years, but it got to a point where I told him I'm not going to the Olympics and I gotta get up and go to work at 5 a.m. Like you put too many miles on it at this point. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you've been in a 10-year relationship, so come on, you have to balance your time and your energy out. I'm trying to read books and get my mindset right. If I didn't went to the Olympics, and guess what? I can't wake up, I can't do nothing, I can't function. I had it happen like 5 days ago. I was so disappointed in myself. I had stuff to do, but guess what? It took me out. So listen, I'm balancing my time. You can pay. Look, if you get them hundreds and you get my nails done, get my hair done, maybe I will do a marathon. You understand? That depends on what you deposit into it. Right? But other than that, give me my little quickie and let's go take on the world.
5 to 15. What's that? 15 minutes.
That's a quickie.
That's a quickie. Yes, it is. So we talk about 7 is a quickie. 5 to 15 is great.
From 145 to an hour and above is a marathon.
Go ahead, Stacey. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Stacey. Yeah, let's get time frame.
15 to 30 is what? It's great. Like,
hello?
I don't think we're doing everything. Say quickies, you ain't touching everywhere. 15 to 30, we doing everything.
Like we wake up, hello, wakey wakey, we go to sleep, hello, nighty nighty. I thought that was normal. But my husband was like, bitch, you're draining me. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's really just based on your partner's sexual appetite. But a quickie, it really evolved after we had our first child. And it was like, we got to get this shit in for this little girl wake up. So I think that it's like situational. Absolutely. But of course, like, if you're like paying for some shit like a weekend, if we in Jamaica, nigga, you're fucking me all day.
So there is no right or wrong, right? It's only what you like. Different people have different ideas of what works for them. I was just telling one of my sisters, I said, sis, I'm 42. So the way a lot of us was raised, a man, he works, he should be a leader, he does this, da-da-da. Shayla and I often talk about in the podcast what a script is, right? So the script we're given, we're spoon-fed since birth. This is what a man is. This is what a woman is. This is what the roles, the gender roles, and we're redefining what that looks like.
I think as Black women, it just gets to be so heightened. It's about control. When you're living in one household and you have one vision and one dream, it's not about yours or mine. It's about ours. You know what I'm saying? So if he's paying for everything, like it's coming out of one pot, really. At least that's how I'm looking at it.
But I would add to the conversation is when you're with someone for as long as we've been together, and if you strive to have a long-term relationship, you really have to be open.
We look to win together. So when we're looking to build, we're looking to build together. But if there's some times where I've got to carry that as a woman, I'm willing to put it on my back and strap up my boots. Like, let's get it. He does the same thing.
I had a dream, I had a goal, I had a vision for our family. For her to get behind me and to support that meant everything to me. So because she believed in me, that made me go 5 times harder. So I landed, we were successful, right? And from that point, I was the breadwinner, and I paid for 95% of the bills. I said, take care of your student loans, take care of whatever you want to take care of, spend your money on what you want to spend your money on.
Yes, Black man.
Right? And so and I felt good to be able to do that because she was down for me. Because I was unemployed before we came to California. You see what I'm saying? So I wanted to provide that lifestyle for her because that's what I felt like she deserved.
Conversation around, you take care of your husband, right? For years, I went forward and was like, I'll never do that again. She showed up with resources and things to support me, but she also lets me manage our money and have input.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Transformation Effect. We hope you found inspiration and insights to help you on your journey.
And remember to make today majestic, and we'll see you in the next episode of The Transformation Effect.